I bought this on Amazon for drinking. I actually bought a few of them. Wrong cup. And it comes with cheesy, stupid stuff written, "Good morning, you've got it. Remember your goal. Keep drinking." Keep drinking? I drink water, by the way, not coffee. Someone mentioned not to drink 12 cups of coffee before I record the next video. But I don't drink coffee. I swear I don't drink coffee. It's empty. So I'm going to replace some of this. This one I crossed, keep drinking. This one I changed it. It said, "You've got it. Stay focused." Tell me if this happens to you. You've planned your day, and you'll put this aside, and you won't even look at it. Just a reminder for me to look at it. This is gonna be more like, go. That's more like it. I know it's a song, but that's not appropriate for this channel. Let's get started. So EQing double basses, like the double basses, in like the double basses section in the orchestra, the strings, the low instruments, the big ones. So the goal here, this is an action cue, so there's intensity. We want for the double basses a few things. 1, to gain a little clarity. 2, aggression. 3, get rid of whatever area or part in the sound that is making it sound muddy. That's making it sound less clear, getting rid of clarity. You get the point. Avoiding muddiness. And this is the EQ. Just copy it and you are done. I'm actually just kidding here.
Very funny.
All the opposite. What I'm about to share here is what works for that specific instrument. And I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible, so I'll go straight to the point. But at the same time, understand what we are trying to do here and how to do it. That's what I'm going to explain. But don't copy the exact same frequencies. If I'm EQing like 90A cycles to add a little bit of blah, 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 don't, like maybe the pads that you are using from your sample library, yes, it's around, I don't know, 80 to 120, but it's not exactly 90, you get the point, right? Don't copy exactly what I'm doing, that's what I'm saying. All right, so 4 things. I've got them written down here. The first one says 300 whoa. The secret with EQing is that it's better to cut frequencies than add frequencies. And usually we think the other way around, right? It's like, well, I want this to sound brighter, and then we will bring up some frequencies, the high frequencies. Instead, I said this in yesterday's video, I believe, just try to get rid of some of the low frequencies that are masking the high frequencies, that are making it harder for us to hear the high frequencies because there's too much of that. This is, for example, like if I was trying to talk and there was loud music in the background. Should I speak louder or just get rid of the music? Maybe just get rid of the music. So it's the exact same thing, right? So cut those annoying frequencies, the ones that are not helping. That is best practice. And to cut that annoying frequency or that range, it's a 3 steps process. Let me just show you. So step number 1, bring up the frequency, make it a little bit narrow. Then play back your music or your track and start moving this frequency around. Try to find where that annoying area is. That when you find it, just bring it down and adjust the cue. And generally that's fairly easy. You just have to, when you are moving that frequency, you're like, oh, this area, this is really, oh, I don't like what I'm hearing. That's what you're gonna cut a little bit. That usually it's easy. But sometimes though, you're trying to find that annoying area. There are some frequencies in specific instruments that for whatever reason, when you are trying to find that annoying, they're not that noticeable. Like it's not that apparent, obvious, clear. I just looked at that word in word reference. Instead of bringing up that frequency and then trying and find what's the annoying range and then cutting. It's doing it the other way. It's cutting first and then trying to find where it sounds better. Look at this, double basses, these guys here. This is the EQ, everything deactivated. All right, it sounds good. Now, the way to try and find that annoying frequency would be, again, bring it up and then try and find that frequency. It's gonna be around here. And to me, it's apparent at around 213. And if I cut here, it is going to make a difference. But for whatever reason, at around 300 cycles, it makes a big difference in such a beautiful way. Let me just show you. I'm just gonna cut 2.5 dBs. Without, with. Oh, isn't this crazy? It's all the body and sound of the double basses, but it gains so much clarity, and all of a sudden we start hearing some of the beautiful higher frequencies that add clarity to the double basses. One more time, without, with. Ooh, just that massive difference. But we're not gonna stop there because I've got more notes. Second note, the trap. The brass is the low instrument of the orchestra, and then it should provide with the low end. That is the lowest instrument in the orchestra, and so just gonna this is cinematic epic music. Let's just bring up those low frequencies.
Wrong answer.
That's far from true. That is the lowest instrument in your arrangement. Maybe from like the orchestral melodic instruments, the double bass section, yes, it sounds one of the lowest, maybe the lowest. But no, and especially in an arrangement like this, the crankcastle, the sub bombs, the kicks, the punches, all these instruments, those are the real low instruments. So instead of making this sound lower, it's the other way around. You're gonna cut a little bit and create a space for those other real low instruments. Just cut a little bit here, see? A little bit, just a tiny bit. Starting like around 100 cycles or so, starts cutting a little bit, see? Just a tiny bit. So before, after, before, after. Not very noticeable, subtle, but meaningful, and it creates a little bit of a space for those other instruments. By the way, don't even feel that you have to cut. You can cut a little bit, it helps. But for sure, don't go at the 30 or 50 or 60 cycles and bring it up like 2, 3, 5 dB. No, that's a no-no. What you can do though is you can bring up a little bit the 100 cycles. This guy here, see? For a bigger bottom end. 100 cycles, it's the upper range of the low frequencies to add a little oomph and create a bigger bottom end. This is exactly how Denny Sands described this in his Mixing for Composers course, and I just love listening mixing engineers talk about sound. They've got all this vocabulary to describe sound. It's just awesome. Yes, that was a shameless plug promo to our Mixing for Composers course with Denny Sands, Hollywood mixing engineer. This is the frequency that I was talking about before, after, before, after. And then finally we've got the range at around 1000, 1K, 1.2K. For definition, aggression, attack, if you go more towards the 1.2, the 1200 cycles, that is going to be a little bit more of the attack. If you're around the 1000, usually it's going to be more for aggression and clarity. This little guy here, before, after. Again, as I said at the beginning, it's better to cut than to add. And when I add, it's just a tiny bit. For the 100 cycles, that was 1.8, I think it was. And for this one, it's 1.2, which is very subtle but meaningful. Without, with. When I exaggerate it more, without, with. That would be too much, but you get the point. So that's it. Before I go, I'm gonna recap one more time, but this time I'm gonna bypass each one of these one by one. This is the one for aggression and clarity, without, with. The one that cleans the sound in a very musical way, around 300, without, with. Ooh, this is magic. And finally this one, the extra oomph. Without, with, without, with. And finally this one, the one that creates space for the other low instruments, the real low instruments, grand cats, sub-bumps, etc. So without, with, without, with. Again, subtle but meaningful. In context, this is the bass by itself. And now in context with everything else. While I was recording this video, we crossed 12,300. It's not 1 million, but it's a good starting point. That's it. This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you found value. Subscribe to make that number grow. Click in the link down below if you want to learn composition. Free class teaches many different orchestral music styles. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.